Hey, lots to talk about today. In crypto, we've got courts freezing assets, someone's facing jail time, and we'd like to recognize the holder of 1% of Bitcoin and who had up to 20% at one time. Welcome to the Tech-Mex Podcast. We're your hosts, Eric and Mando. This is episode Treinta-six. We do the research so you don't have to. Dale.
Dale. All right, in Bitcoin news, man, the drama is still going on with Craig Wright. You know what happened?
What's going on with Craig? Good old Craigie boy.
The Faketoshi.
Faketoshi.
The UK judge froze his account. He's basically a bunch of assets to prevent him to basically evade the cost on the court. It's not that much. I mean the guy is a billionaire. Yeah. But it's about 7.4 million that basically they wanted to get from him.
He's a sore loser, I'm sure. I mean, he's the one that started like this whole drama, right? I still don't get it. Like, he's obviously not Satoshi. He's probably gonna take his ball and run home and take his ball with him.
That's basically it. He and just like no, you keep the ball in the game, man.
I know, right?
I think that paying the fees is not about the money. It's for him. It's probably, as you said, he's a sore loser, and he doesn't want to admit that he lost. Mm-hmm. So paying the fee, that means that he's admitting that he lost the whole thing, right?
That's a good point. I mean, that's a point. It is just kind of form of symbolism. Like, all right, you made us go through this thing. And by the way, I think it was since 2021 that they've been going through this. So it's been a good 3 years. It's not cheap to have all this. So 7.4 million actually doesn't even seem like that much. Like, it seems like it should be more that he should have to pay.
For sure. It was just a back and forth, right? And obviously maybe some lawyer expenses as well for all of the defendant and things like that. So, but yeah, that was one of the news. There's more news as well. Do you remember SBF? We haven't heard it lately, but I mean, the guy was like a very, very important piece of crypto at some point. His full name is Sam Bankman-Fried, but it's kind of hard to say it, and it's too long. So then everyone in the field, they called him SBF.
Yeah. I mean, SBF, you might also know him as the white dude with the fro. We're hearing in the news, right, that he finally got his sentence, right? I mean, a lot of people have really been looking forward to this day. I mean, last week we talked a little bit about that. Hey, yeah, we know we're going to jail, or that he's going to jail. And now we're seeing that it's going to be 25 years. I mean, that's
25 years. It's I mean, right now the guy is 32. So it's like he's going to be out, I guess, in retirement time for him.
It's not a bad deal, I guess, right? I'm sure he has money tucked away somewhere. And once he gets out, he'll be able to access those funds. So, you know, by 32 plus 25, that's if he serves the full 25, right? He'll be in his late 50s.
Yeah.
Gonna have some money, even if he has some crypto still tucked away somewhere. It's not gonna be too bad.
I think that maybe, I mean, it's close to 60, right? It's 57. So it is tough, right? Because at the end of the day, he messed up with a lot of the funds. One of the things that this guy was sharp, right? I mean, the guy was from MIT. He was kind of very. He created these different companies, right? He was able to raise capital from big VC firms. So it's funny to me how they mess it up, right? He actually was, I believe, in Forbes. It's funny how Forbes is able to always put these people like the Theranos.
The Theranos, exactly.
She was on the cover of Forbes. This guy, I think that he also was on the cover of Forbes.
Yeah.
So under 30, I think. Billionaires under 30.
It's this whole halo effect. You know, these people are normal people. They're not they're not necessarily above, like head and shoulders above everybody else. It's just there's this halo effect for these folks that, go to these schools. They then automatically get funneled into these VC areas and things like that. But they screw up. They screw up even bigger than the average person, right? And so to a certain extent, you get tired of seeing it. And so, 25 years is a pretty good sentence for him. He really cheated a lot of people out of money, and it's a straight fraud. It's not, makes a lot of people really angry. And the thing is, this halo effect that you see with Silicon Valley and things like that. That's why they can get away with this stuff, is because they're in the system. They assume like they know what they're doing, but in reality, they're just faking it till they make it. Sometimes they're going to get caught. Yeah. And that's what happened here.
The defendants were only asking they were trying to get only 5 to 6 years for him jail time. But the prosecutors were saying, no, he's going to get 50 years. So at the max, it was about 110 years. Oh. So I guess he got something in the middle, a compromise.
Yeah, it's a decent compromise. Well, it was a white collar crime, right? He didn't go out and physically hurt people, but he did hurt monetarily a lot of people. Now, a lot of folks that get into these games, they already have tons of money, so they're just this kind of play money and they're investing. But some people really did pour like maybe their life savings into this, thinking, okay, I see the TV commercials. There's these big celebrities endorsing it. There's politicians that are receiving money, donations from FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. It must be legit. Like, it should be safe for me to put in all my money. And then a lot of people got burned. They got fried from Sam Bankman-Fried, right? So
for real, yeah. And for me, because I always play with these technologies or these companies, I noticed something funny about not being able to sell very quickly and get out of my positions. Mm-hmm. But the numbers over there in the because it was more for options, for Bitcoin options. And that was weird. And yes, there are liquidity problems, but I kind of sensed it and I pulled it out. And I'm glad. If not, I will be in the
part of that
in the
list,
pool of the bankruptcy,
the defendants list. Or no, prosecutors on the prosecutors, right? Yeah. Defendants, right?
The other thing that is interesting is, have you seen his girlfriend, Caroline? Man, she looks stressed.
Oh, good old Alameda girl. She's had better days, I'm sure. But I don't know. She did her part to put SBF away for 25 years. I know she was a cooperating witness, but I think she still probably has her own legal battle to come. So she may still get time as well. Yeah. But I'm assuming because she cooperated with SBF, she's probably looking at a more lenient sentence, and
maybe 5 to 10 years, huh?
Yeah. So I'm sure SBF and Caroline, they talked and said, look, it's not looking good anyways. How about you get the short end of the stick and, I get a more lenient sentence, and they probably work that out. So,
yeah, we'll keep telling you some of these nuggets, right? So that way we are doing the research for you. So
if you had to guess, who owns 1% of all the Bitcoin out there right now?
Right now? MicroStrategy, baby.
AKA Michael Saylor.
We're going to have to do a meme video for him, man.
Oh, it's coming. You know it is, right?
Yes. So he owns about 214,246 Bitcoins as March 19, 2024. So
what do you think that is? That's a bad number. It kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit there, right?
I guess. But the interesting thing is his average price. Guess what is his average price for? Obviously, he started buying several years ago.
Yeah.
But his average price right now is 33,706 per each of the Bitcoins that they hold.
I mean, you know, that's not bad. We're currently, you know, over double that. So I think he's doing pretty good. Their strategy, the MicroStrategy, what they've been doing is dollar cost averaging. I mean, they do big numbers, you know, when they dollar cost average. And for those of you that, you know, aren't familiar with dollar cost averaging, it's basically you have a periodic investment into whatever asset it is that you're trying to get into. So you slowly build your position over time. So let's say you're interested in buying some Bitcoin, but you're like, well, when do I buy it? Do I buy the dip? Do I wait for the dip? Do I hold on? A lot of people say it's better it's more so time in the market versus trying to time the market or trying to figure out when's the best time to jump in. So what DCAers do, dollar cost averagers do, is they have a periodic investment, whether it's, you know, once a week you buy $100 at a time, or it's daily $10 at a time. That's how you build your position over time. And that way, with your daily price fluctuations going up and down, it all averages out. For someone like MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor, they have, you know, they have aspirations to get huge amounts of Bitcoin. So their periodic purchases are a little bit bigger. And plus, Michael is leveraging, right? He's getting loans to buy Bitcoin and things like that. That's a fairly more advanced thing to do. Maybe your daily Bitcoiner now maybe shouldn't be doing, you know, like mortgaging their house to buy Bitcoin. He's essentially doing, that's what
he's mortgaging the company.
Yeah. And so, but anyways, that's how you dollar cost average, and that's how you build the position for the asset that you do. A lot of people do that. They say it's better than trying to position yourself as one big buy in the market. Is just do it slowly over time.
Yep, for sure.
So do you? I mean, this 1% is a big number of Bitcoin, right?
Right now, it's almost close to 7 billion to today's prices.
Mm-hmm.
It's bananas, right? It's getting very, very sizable. So, but yeah, we'll keep watching to see how that develops.
Yeah, it's looking to be pretty substantial number. But our boy Michael Saylor, we're gonna do a meme just to kind of show the respect for the huevos that guy has. And get a meme video out there. So look for that in the coming days. And I will do a shout out to our current all-time high meme video. Y'all need to go check that out. And by the way, if you guys like this information that we're getting out there, like this content, just remember to like, subscribe, and comment. All right.
We always answer the comments, and for haters too.
Hey, you know, a comment is a comment. We'll take what we can get. All right. So this week in tech products, we've got some Vision Pro updates. So guess what I did this last weekend, man?
You went to the mall and tried on?
Yeah. So we've got in Highland Village here in Houston, we've got a nice Apple store. You know, it's the big glass one that you might see a lot of times in some of the pictures when you look up the Apple store. And I went in there. We have someone visiting from London, and so we're just kind of taking them out around town. And her Apple Watch band broke, so we went to go take her to get a new band. So we went up to the Apple store. And there's like in the middle of the store, you see a bunch of people doing this whole Minority Report style stuff. We're like, what are they doing? And you see this big old thing on their head, man, the Vision Pro. So I was like, oh man, I got to try this out. So they've got this process where you walk into the store, tell them, hey, I want to demo the Apple Vision Pro. You sign up, 15 minutes later, they got you there. There's actually a line for this thing. So when I was there, so they put you in the middle of the store so that everybody can just watch you as you're doing this weird stuff with your hands, and they walk you through a specific demo. So if y'all are interested in the Apple Vision Pro and you have an Apple store near you, go check it out. Alex, the girl that's visiting us from London, she said it's not released over there yet. So she was really interested in trying it out. Like, I don't think she was interested in buying it. It's like $4,000, right? I forgot, I asked the guy, hey, how much does this run? Cause I was like, hey, this is not bad. I remember the Oculus Rift was, I don't know, $500. I don't remember, something like that. Right. It was the dev edition. And, so I'm like, oh yeah, maybe it's like 800. I remembered something like that, but no, it's $4,000. So I'm like, okay.
So if you think that if it would be $1,000, you would shell it out there?
I think 1,000 is probably worthwhile. 4,000, that's a little bit more like,
you don't see the value of having it for 4K. Okay.
Yeah, at 4K, I'm not there. At 1,000, and it's an expensive toy, but like, you buy watches, you buy phones, they're kind of in that range. It's not too big a deal. But I did the demo. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about the demo. For those of you that have done VR, the Oculus stuff, it's very similar. It's not like a way completely thing. I know they're trying to sell spatial computing, whatever. It's like same shit, different name. It's just marketing, right? But they do have some good stuff. Like what really sold me on some of the experiences is like as part of the demo, they have this thing with Alicia Keys where you're in the studio with her. She's singing on the piano. She's almost like feels like she's serenading you to your face. And I'm like, oh, hey, Alicia Keys, hey, what's up? But it's very cool. It feels like very personal. Feels like you're in there with them. The quality is very, very high. And I think that's the key. It's 3D-ish, I think. So it was filmed. I think it must be a special file. It's not just any normal file, at least to get this like real life experience with Alicia Keys. That was very good. And the sound was also very good. I think they probably capture, 3D sound as well. So when they feed it to you within the headset, it's pretty cool. So I think that experience, that demo that they had there with that was really cool. They also had this other demo. It was a soccer demo where you're in the game essentially. You're like right behind the goal. And so you can see the players trying to hit the ball towards you. And again, it all feels very 3D like, so it feels like you're really there. The resolution's really high. I don't know. Do you think that something like that would be, is that something that would compel you to buy this?
Not for 4K, man. I think that I gravitate to that price, maybe $1,500, right? But it's like 4K is like still don't see the value, right? Because even a nice computer is $2,500, right? So unless maybe it completely replaces my computer, and yes, I know that maybe it's one of those things that maybe you are having a big screen because obviously to watch it, it will be very, very nice. A game or a movie, but once again, the price is not something that I see a lot of the value on the device. It feels bulky to me. Once again, we are thinking that this is the worst of all of the devices that we're gonna see for this, right, from Apple. By the way, talking about the device in the face and the VR, have you started watching the show, The Three Body Problem, from Netflix?
It's on my list. I clicked on it, so it's there on my continue watching, but I haven't gotten into it.
I read the book. I'm personally, I don't like fiction books. I guess I prefer to watch them on movies,
yeah,
or TV shows. In this case, I guess a friend of mine. I should bring him to the pod. Basically, he recommended me that one, and I read it like maybe a year ago or so. I'm pretty pleased with what the show kind of is doing it, but they have a headset, and the headset is like no cables, and it's just literally this metal kind of like headset. It's pretty dope. When you see it, it's like, man, we are far away from that. And actually, that's supposed to be. I'm not going to tell you much, but it's supposed to be like high tech, almost alien technology, right? So
yeah, well, that sounds pretty cool.
It's very cool. The headset, no cables, no buttons, no nothing, right? So take a look. If you like Alicia Keys and then you see the Three Body Problem, it's like
It's going to be cool.
We are going in that direction.
Yeah. Well, it sounds pretty cool. I mean, there's another Prime show, and maybe we'll link it in the notes, but there's one that has this concept of your like sleeves, or like you can jump into different bodies and things like that. So there's a pretty cool concept. There's Prime shows. So we'll link these so y'all can check them out. But speaking of like the headset itself, right? So this demo was like 15 minutes maybe.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's not super long. It's a 15 minute demo, and there's a Apple employee sitting next to you, kind of like helping you navigate the different apps, how you open it. The headset itself, when you first put it on, you basically hold it onto your face and you tighten a little knob here on the side, and it squeezes this thing onto your face, onto your head, and there's this cable. The cable got in the way a little bit, but it's maybe just because it was wrapped around my body, because I had the.
It would be
the main
heavier,
thing.
right? The reason why they did that is to put the battery in your pocket, so
Yeah.
in that way, it's not that heavy. It's less. Do you feel less heavy than the Oculus?
No, it's heavier. It's even that way. I feel like it was still heavier. And we were sitting down, so it's not like this thing was hanging from you. We were sitting on a chair, basically like a little bench, and this was on my side. But that thing, after 15 minutes, I got a headache, not from like eyes, but like from it weighing down. Maybe my neck muscles aren't strong enough, but yeah, I got basically like a tension headache running down the back of my head after 15 minutes of using this. So I don't remember having that with the Oculus, but the Oculus, right, that dev device that we had, it was basically plastic, I remember. And so it wasn't super heavy. At least those early ones. Maybe they're getting heavier over time because they're trying to use quality materials. And I know that's what Apple's doing. It looks nice. It's nice and glass and everything, but it does have some heft to it. It doesn't feel like it at first. It feels okay. But after 15 minutes, I definitely got a headache. Another thing that I noticed, and it almost ruined the whole experience for me, is that I was sweating, I guess, or it was kind of getting a little bit warm. I had a jacket on. It was kind of cool. It was a cool day outside, so I had a thin jacket on. So I was a little warm when we were in the store already there for half an hour, kind of waiting. And so it fogged up. It fogged up a lot of the glass as I was wearing it. So one of my eyes was kind of partially obscured by this fogginess and things like that. It's cloth material, so it should be able to breathe, but still I still got warm and stuff like that. Maybe like I'm not used to all this exercise of moving my arms around. I don't know, but yeah, or I drank too much coffee beforehand. Either way, I was a little bit warm using it, and if it completely fogged it up. There's a questionnaire that they ask you. They ask you, do you wear glasses? Do you wear contacts? Things like that. And you have to scan your face before you do this, because I guess they try to get you an appropriate size. And then I squeezed it on. I ratcheted it because it would otherwise slide down your face. So you ratchet it pretty hard onto your face, tight. So all of these things kind of contributed to overall, that. It's promising for sure. There's a couple of these experiences that I feel are worthwhile long term. I can see myself watching a basketball game, a football game, a soccer game through this. That seems like a pretty good use case. However, those experiences for me today are usually a group experience. If it's a big game, it's not like by myself watching a game. Usually it's a group experience. So I'm not sure how they're going to, fix that aspect, but the quality is there. I think the resolution is there. Certain experience do speak to me. There was part of the demo had me looking over a cliff, which yes, did make me freak out because I'm scared of heights. So you will see some of that, and it does all that. So pretty cool. If you haven't tried it out, find an Apple store near you and go try it out. It's a fun experience. Not quite there for me at 4K though. Hey, one other thing here as we're talking about tech products. If you're out there this weekend and you see some Teslas on the road, you might want to watch out. Have you heard about what's going on, Mando?
I think that they're going to enable basically the self-driving for everyone, which is kind of scary, man, because we were in Mexico City a couple of weeks ago. Do you think that they're going to enable it there?
Yeah, hell no. I think they're far from that. You've got to be like a experienced driver to be able to handle that.
Yes, I think that in some places, in some countries, they are far away from it. They need to get more data, so in that way they can do a final release. But at least in US, I think that they could enable in many cities here. So it's interesting. I think that maybe they're getting very close to finalize it, to have it ready.
Yeah, I think you could be right. So I think it's just a 1 month trial, by the way. So it's not like everyone's just going to get it for free, but it is going to be free for a month. And supposedly they're enabling it right now. So I haven't seen it come up on my vehicle yet. So I don't know if they have to push out an update of some sort. But yeah, they're supposed to be able to do like point to your grocery store, take me to the grocery store, and it should be able to take you. I've used it once before, and I had fear for my life. I'm like, it's not ready. But this version 12 that I think they've got out there, the beta that they're working on right now, it's supposed to be pretty close. So I think you're right. They might be getting close to a final release of this, or at least their first public release, not a beta release, where it should be able to handle most situations, most driving situations. But they have changed the terminology a little bit. Now they call it supervised full self-driving, which means you've got to be ready to take over the wheel at a moment's notice, which I think makes a lot of sense because when I used it, it was when I first got the vehicle. I think they had it on for maybe a week or something. No. I got a loaner when they were fixing my computer. I got a new computer in the car, and they gave me a loaner, and it had full self driving. But no, that was not. I did not use. I used it once, and I turned it off because that was scary.
I bet.
Could be getting better. I don't know. There's also notes that people are thinking there's a big end of quarter push. Elon's trying to make the numbers look good towards the end of the quarter, so it might also have something to do with that.
Well, let me know how it goes. And I'm still on the line of trying to wait for the Cybertruck, but the other one that is coming is the Roadster. So that one is, but I believe it's only 2 seats because it's kind of a sport car. But yeah, they are taking orders at the moment. You have to shell out $5,000. It's not like $100, and then 10 days later you have to pay 45K for the car. So I'm not sure when they're gonna deliver it, but yeah, that's basically what they were asking.
Yeah, that's true. The Roadster, I heard that it may be coming out maybe next year. At least that's what they've been saying for the last I don't know, 6 years or something, 5 years that they've. I mean, the Cybertruck's been. It's not even since 2019. 2018 was when they first said, "Hey, we're making a truck." And so that's been already maybe 6 years ago, 2018. Yeah. So they even teased it from back then before they actually did the release in 2019 when they actually said, "Hey, this is what we're making," and then it took them another 5 years to build, right? So they do have some stuff in the roadmap. I hear it's going to have rockets, that Roadster, by the way.
That would be good.
So they say it could hop or fly a little bit. We'll see what that's like, but that's what I'm hearing. But that's what I got for this week in tech.
Yeah. So our Bitcoin section, right, for all of the billionaires out there, right? Do you know this guy, Chamath Palihapitiya?
He's a Facebook guy early on, wasn't he?
Yes, he was one of the early executives in Facebook. But there's something interesting about him too. In some point in 2010, he purchased 1 million Bitcoins. So at the price of 30 cents. Imagine that.
Man, that's a great buying opportunity right there.
Well, the interesting thing is that he was able to see how the Bitcoin is going to be transformational and put a lot of money, right? When literally nobody was transacting properly or there was not a lot of information, and he had a lot of conviction to be able to buy that many. By the way, he in his personal side, everybody thinks that he's the Indian guy. He's not Indian. He's
Yeah.
close.
Yeah. What? Oh, okay.
It's from Sri Lanka.
Where's he from? Ah, okay.
And if you see the map from India, Sri Lanka is the island that is on the south, on the right side. So yeah, a lot of people think that he's Indian. I mean, he looks Indianish, so I can see why. But the guy is very articulated, almost no accent. I don't know when he came to US, but also in his personal side too. He talks on this on interviews or things like that uh, that he basically as a kid he was abused by his dad, and basically he will be asked, hey, go to the backyard, get a stick, and as a kid he was thinking, should I get the thin one or the thick one, right? Like and then it's like he you can see when he's talking and saying that it actually has a trauma on that. He mentioned that he got better through the years with psychologists and all of that, but it affected him.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds funny, but yeah, it's actually pretty serious. But I remember growing up. I mean, you get whooped every. I mean, we're traviesos, right? We get into a lot of trouble. I don't know if it's a common theme or not, but that cinto comes out like automatic, right? You know when you go, psh, psh, it's time, and they start chasing you. You're gonna get some welts.
In the Hispanic
What about
community,
you? Did you have to experience the cinto, the belt?
No, not the cinto, but the cinto is for those is the cinturón. That means belt in Spanish. And no, we got the chancla. Yes, yeah, and my mom, she had the chancla, man, that it had like a waffle on the bottom, and I almost remember that she probably lost the left chancla and she only kept the right one. I don't know why. Maybe it's because she can grab it. But man, that thing, like you just will have the waffle right in your butt.
Oh man.
so yeah,
it leaves a sting. It leaves a mark.
I feel for this guy, but I think that the way that he explains it is in a different level. I think that I never was bled, or I never was like completely fully bruised, right? But it seems that this guy was like pretty bad shape, and I think that maybe a lot of his decisions to be able to make it is probably just to prove it, right? To his dad and all of that. I mean, the guy in some point owned it. As I said, 1 million bitcoins, which is almost 20% of the circulation. It was in that time in 2010, there was close to 5 million bitcoins mined in that time. Once again, this guy owned 20% of that supply, man.
Wow. I mean, you got to have some big huevos to really go all in on something like that, right? I mean, I guess at 30 cents at that time, that was maybe what, $300K, $300,000. So
it's still in old money. It's still probably equivalent to now maybe $1 million, which is
I guess it's been 15 years, 14, 15 years ago, right? Yeah, $300K is still a good amount of money in today's dollars. I mean, I know we've seen a bit of inflation recently, but still a good chunk of money.
Talking about huevos, all in huevos. That's the name of his podcast.
That's not a bad name, huh?
Remove the huevos. But the name of his podcast is called All In. And the reason why is because they are poker players. That was literally all in, right? So, and in the description of their website and their podcast, it basically says industry veterans, degenerates gamblers, and vesties.
Oh, and besties.
Yeah,
Man,
besties.
we add that to ours, huh?
We should add maybe exactly like the degenerates or the besties or both.
Yeah.
So
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 that's
yeah,
probably why he said, "Okay, I'm all in on this Bitcoin." He made his big bet, 300K, right? Because at the time, he was probably still a Facebooker. I'm assuming at that time,
I
and
think
this is kind of
so.
what helped
And
him
we'll have to see
launch.
the timeline, but he probably was in Facebook still.
Well, that's pretty cool. I guess for those of y'all interested in some of the stuff, there's a bit of overlap because they cover economics, tech, political, social, and I guess poker too, since that's the name of the podcast, right? All in.
Yeah,
Check them out.
there
See what
there
y'all
are
think.
their content is interesting. They sometimes I feel that it's more macro. They're trying because these guys now they have bigger money, right? You're talking about billions, and
Mhm.
sometimes they mess with Jason Calacanis because he's not.
Uh,
So it's like you have like 300 meals, right? You're
what do the peasants think about this?
what did the peasants?
300 million, right?
So and they, again they troll him on the pod, right? So but I think that Jason is a champ. He takes it like humbly. He's like, well, I'm getting there little by little.
Yeah.
So
That was
I
pretty
think that
cool.
that's an interesting question, right? Like what he has a couple jumps and then he became a billionaire. What would you do, right?
Mhm.
If if you do that jump, right, from 100 meals to then you jump into the billionaire. I know what this guy did,
Yeah,
but what would you do?
yeah, I guess it's pretty hard. It depends. Are you um are you content? Or are you trying to continue to build, right? Jason's saying, you're right, he's got a few hundred million already. Does he want to go into that next realm? When you're talking about that big amount of money, there's only so many things that you can do. And we've talked about a few things, right? Like in the Billionaire Watch series, we talk about how there's a lot of people buying farmland. Why is that going to be a big thing coming up? Some people are part of companies like we talked about the eyewear brand. We talked about LVMH, right? Louis Vuitton, with the Pope over there, the Pope of fashion. I mean, I think I'm interested in products, big luxury wealth type products. If I was in that, I tend to gravitate towards that. So maybe something like that might be fun. What about you?
You will make a purse,
A man purse.
a man purse. It's like a Lululemon man purse. So this
Well,
guy, what
maybe
he
a
did,
product that might be fun,
might be fun for sure.
besides the obvious philanthropy kind of stuff, because I think that's super important. And obviously this podcast is about like empowering different people, including Latinos and things like that. So that's something for sure I would do. But then some other things would be interesting.
Which I think that this guy is doing, trying to do, merge those two, meaning a business and philanthropy, which is
Mm-hmm.
interesting because the name
Mm.
of his company now is called Social Capital. And the guy, I
Okay.
remember why I started following him or watching his content because the guy is brown, right? And he
Mm-hmm.
says, uh, you got to get the fucking money. Literally, I'm quoting him. So in order to be on
Mm-hmm.
the big table, which I think that the more we get wealthy, we all brown people, we can get seat on the table, and uh, and he's right. It's just how you get diversity. That's how you get to also influence political kind of rules and organizations and companies, right? So and he's very vocal on this, and that's the reason why uh, I think that his ideas are interesting, and he's also looking into emerging technology, the trends, how he can partner with different entrepreneurs. Very Silicon Valley heavy, but still some of the very libertarian thinking, right? That also, I guess, brown people matter, right? So we don't have a movement, so let's call it that for now.
That's a good one. Yeah, maybe. We'll come up with one. Maybe that's
We have
something
to
that we
come
can
up
do.
with
We
a
start
movement, right?
a
So
movement.
to get in power.
I'm an inclusive kind of guy though, so I like to have something that's inclusive and positive. So we'll see. We'll work on it.
We'll work on it. All right, man.
Yeah.
What else?
I think that's all we got for today. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. We love to hear from you. If you haven't watched our viral Bitcoin all-time high meme remix, check it out on our channel. That's all we've got for today. Dale.
Dale.